Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Senior Cat Wellness. Today, it's all about making sure that your home is very much cat ready, a safe area for your pet, and also a place designed where your cat, well, they won't be able to turn your home into their personal playground, and a potentially dangerous playground at that. Safe for them and good for you. That's the goal. Cat-proofing your home is not just about protecting your furniture, it's also about creating a very safe and enriched environment for your pet. Cats are very curious and agile and very much instinct-driven animals. What seems harmless to you can quickly become a hazard to them. And in this guide, we'll take you a bit of a room-by-room tour, if you will. We'll break down some of the specific dangers to look out for and the very best ways to make sure that your home is safe, comfortable, and certainly cat-friendly. And we'll kick things off with the living room, where most cats will spend a significant amount of their time throughout their life from kittenhood to senior status. Electrical cords. That's a common risk. Kittens especially tend to chew on them, which can unfortunately lead to burns and electrocution. So the advice here is to use cord protectors or cable management systems of any type to hide or shield all of those exposed wires. Houseplants. Interestingly enough, I think it's sort of one thing that people tend to forget or ignore, especially novice owners, which is fine. Hey, we're not born knowing everything, but pay attention if you have houseplants. Many popular varieties, such as lilies and philodendrons, can cause a problem that are toxic to cats. So either remove these plants or replace them with a cat-safe alternative. And I won't go through that whole list right now, but I certainly encourage you to Google a listing or even contact your vet or perhaps even your local pet supply store and just ask them what is safe and what is not when it comes to plants in the home. What about this one? Cover and remove small items such as rubber bands and paper clips, or either if you have a baby in the house or a toddler in the house, any of their toys, anything that your cat can manipulate with their mouth. I mentioned toddlers. That could be a good mindset to adopt. Treat any sort of, let's call it debris on the floor, just like in the same way you would want your toddler to be grabbing just anything off the floor at the risk of putting it in their mouth. Think of the same when it comes to your cat. Anything that you know would catch their attention that they would want to try to chew on or in some cases actually consume. If you know that and you see it, either pick it up and throw it away or even place it in a side drawer or on the bookcase, just anything out of the way where they can't be intrigued by it and certainly can't touch it and manipulate it with their mouth. Also, you might want to avoid using any sort of potpourri or scented candles, essential oils, and especially in places where you know your cat's going to frequent. That's a no-no, just like the indoor plants, because potpourri, for example, and some scented candles can be incredibly toxic to felines. Now let's move along to your kitchen. That's a negative playground, we'll just call it, because it's filled with items that are very intriguing to cats, and most of which can cause a series of issues. Make sure all of your food is secured, safely secured, first and foremost, especially when we're talking about items such as chocolate and garlic and onions, and of course alcohol. Never leave open containers or food scraps unattended, because your cat can see it and jump up on that counter, and here again, it's all about manipulation, and you might be surprised how cats can manipulate things in ways that you might not even expect. Keep cabinets and drawers closed at all times. Use child-proof locks if necessary. If you're already using them because of a child, that's certainly a positive in the win column for you. If you're already being safe for your children, those same safety measures can certainly pay off if you have a very curious cat. Let's talk about trash in the trash can. Here again, I just mentioned in the prior section, talking about little things on the floor you might want to throw away, but throwing things away, it's only as good if that trash can or trash bin is off limits entirely to your cat, because if it's just sort of an open container, there's nothing that there to stop your cat from just jumping right in the trash can and retrieving whatever they want or knocking it over and getting it that way. Now let's talk about stovetops. Make sure they are cooled down, because a lot of stovetops will remain very hot long after they've been in use. So if you know your cat has a tendency to jump up on those counters, kitchen counters, maybe walk across the oven, make sure that if you know you can't avoid them getting up there, certainly monitor them and make sure they stay away and stay out of the kitchen. Because the last thing you want to do or want to see and have happen is your cat jumping up on a stovetop 5 to 10 minutes after it was used. And here again, just like other things in the kitchen, when you're talking about silverware, make sure you're leaving you're not leaving those knives and other breakables near the edge of a countertop because you're dealing with multiple things. So you're talking about the possibility of your cat injuring themselves. But let's say like a cookie jar, for example, you're talking about your cat potentially manipulating your items in a negative way and costing you when it comes to your property and your belongings. So it's all about keeping your cat safe and keeping your home safe, and the kitchen is a perfect example of that. Let's talk about that bathroom. First thing that comes to mind is closing that toilet lid. Cats, especially young cats and kittens, can fall in the toilet, have trouble getting out. This is just a mess for a variety of reasons. If you store medications in your restroom, in your bathroom, make sure you are doing so in a secure cabinet or cabinets. You don't want to, that almost goes without saying. You don't want to even think about the negative consequences that could come from consumption of pills, especially anytime you're talking medication that's made for human consumption only, it's obviously a very negative when it comes to cats. Razors, dental floss, cotton swabs, rubbing alcohol, all of these items, keep those out of your cat's line of sight, keep them stored away. So anything, the bathroom is sort of similar to a laundry area or a garage area. If the bathroom is filled with chemicals that are just made for you, items that are made for you, they're obviously very toxic to cats, so keep them out of the bathroom if possible. Make sure that door just stays closed and that's not an area they can even consider frequenting. Let's talk about the bedroom. Here again, we've got more little things, little knick-knack type things that your cat could try to eat or consume: jewelry, shoelaces, anything that sort of falls on the ground. Air fresheners, you have candles, those like plug-in type candles or air fresheners plugged in. Anything that they can manipulate with their mouth or their paws. If your cat is allowed to go into your bedroom, make sure that it is a cat-friendly environment where they can walk around without the curiosity taking over and then them finding themselves involved in a whole bunch of stuff they shouldn't be. Make sure all your clothes are put away. Make sure there's no clothes on the floor for them to get curious about and bite and potentially chew. And hey, this is also talking about your own things. I'm sure you don't want your shirts and your socks to be manipulated by your cat in the same way you don't want to risk a choking hazard. So keep them off the floor and in that laundry basket for certainly more than one reason. Do you have a home office, an area, perhaps even if you don't work from home, do you have a study area? Brings me back to the earlier point about electronics, those cables, any cords, anything that could be a negative source, let's call it, for your pet. If it's an office area, you might have paper clips or little pins or anything that you staplers, maybe a loose staple that's fallen out of the stapler that's now on the floor. So that vacuum cleaner can be your friend when it comes to debris, but all of the little things that perhaps you even have trouble keeping track of, that's something that your cat would probably find. Here again, negative manipulation. We want to have that completely off the table. Create a positive and safe environment, whether you're talking about the bedroom, the kitchen, or in this case, a home office. That leads us to the laundry room. It sort of speaks for itself here. We've got, items that are used to wash clothes, all of which are very toxic. So I know you can't take them out of the laundry room, but keep them in an area, perhaps a very high shelf with some areas in between that can run as almost like a blocker, where your cat really is not content on making that jump. It's sort of too much trouble to get to it, and if it's too much trouble, that's the goal. You want to make it troublesome in a positive way. So that laundry room, if they do get in there, make sure that there's no way possible for them to get into anything. And hey, in a perfect world, unless you're washing clothes, keep that area completely closed and off limits. And that leads us to, I mentioned earlier about the kitchen and how it's sort of like the garage area when it comes to chemicals and the bathroom. It's the same here. We're talking antifreeze and motor oil, and perhaps that's where you put any chemicals that you would apply to your yard. So it's sort of chemical overload in here for a wide variety of different reasons. So keep your cat just out of the garage, and if they do come in, Make sure the garage floor is clean, and make sure all those chemicals that you do have are stored in an area where your cat doesn't have direct access to them. Overall tips for your whole home: window screens. If you have open windows, you don't want your cat, if you live many floors, let's just say above ground, the last thing you want is your cat to be perched on an open window and have them fall out or try to dive out for prey. We talk about different chemicals and things of the similar nature, but there's other ways that your cat can encounter negativity, let's call it, within your home. Here again, a lot of times it's all about cat-proofing areas, but in many ways, the biggest proof is just to keep that door closed, whether you're talking about the laundry room or the garage area. If you can keep a room that's problematic off limits entirely, then there's the winner. You don't have to worry about putting stuff away that they can't reach if they're not even allowed to go in that room in the first place. Ultimate goal here is to enrich your cat's environment with safe alternatives, creating a cat-friendly environment that works for them. Scratching posts, different kind of interactive toys, climbing trees, you name it, anything that is sort of feline approved. And last but not least, if your cat does get away, that's another issue in the home. We could say the ultimate goal to cat proofing is making sure your cat doesn't leave the home. If you want your cat to stay inside, and by chance they do get outside, it's important to microchip your cat. So even when they're outdoors, they can be identified if they are found, if they don't return home. So the goal here overall, it's about protecting the inside of your home, but also making sure if your cat does get out that they can be found. So overall, cat proofing your home, it's certainly not easy. It's not something that you can just do in a day. It might be a sort of a morphing process. You may think everything is safe until your cat gets involved in something that you never even expected. So it can change with their personality. It can certainly change with their age. Cat proofing a home, if you have a kitten or a young adult cat, the look of it, how you go about it, could look very different from trying to cat proof a home for a cat that's, say, 15 years old. So as time goes, you'll have to make those changes, but be prepared and be on your feet, and be keen to the little things, because sometimes those little things can be the big negatives. So just keep an eye out and watch your cat, and you should be just fine. Take a room-by-room approach and remove those hidden hazards, and you can prevent accidents, and by doing so, you'll create a safe and enriching environment for your pet. Little preparation each day, monitoring your cat, it can make all the difference in the world when it comes to your cat's health and their safety for many years to come under your roof. To the wonderful audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts on this topic? Anything you'd like to add to the conversation? My comment section, as always, it's all yours. And if you enjoyed today's content and found it helpful and informative, please share this video out, hit that like button, and subscribe to us right here at Senior Cat Wellness. Until next time, we will talk to you later.